What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Hart or Hart DFS, and today we have another NBA Prizepicks video for you guys for the start of these play-in tournaments for the NBA playoffs. If you're new to my channel, my name is Hart. I make daily Prizepick videos for the NBA, as well as NBA slate breakdowns on DraftKings. I'll have one up right now, so go check that out. As well as a new series called the NBA Playoff Prediction Series, where I'll be giving away the money that I win at the end of the NBA playoffs on my Twitter at HartDFS. So make sure to follow me there. HartDFS will be giving, that money to some of my followers. I'll be posting my other videos, extra prize pick plays, good stuff like that. Just want to engage with you guys more. So if you could follow me there, that'd be great. And if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and comment. Do appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for 200 subscribers. Really appreciate it. Let's get to 500 by the end of the playoffs. That is the goal. So let's get there. And thank you guys once again. So for this video today, we have a 5-pick play. We have, the first one is Bruce Brown over projected fantasy score of 32. The reason why I like this is Bruce Brown can do it all. As we see, he's hit it in the past 3 out of 5, averaging 39. Let's go back to him on DraftKings. This game is a 9.5 point spread, so there's a little bit of blowout risk, but I do think they're going to run their starters the whole game. Both sides. It's the playoffs. It's going to be a tight rotation. You're not going to have, guys at the bottom of the bench come in and take minutes away from anyone. So really like Bruce Brown in this spot. It should see close to 40 minutes in this game. KD and Kyrie are obviously two of the top players in the league in basketball. They are going to require to get double teamed at some point in this game, and that means guys like Bruce Brown are able to cut to the basket, get easy dunks, easy layups. He's a high rebound guy, high assist guy. In the playoffs for Prizepicks, blocks and steals count as 3 points, and as you can see, he's averaging about a steal a game. Recently, he's been getting at least a block a game, if not more. 3, 3, 1, 4, 2. 3 steals, 1, 1. So he's really good at getting blocks and steals. And when it comes to 40 minutes, getting blocks and steals, which are 3 points each, 32 is just way too low because he's a guy who can obviously score it as well. So we can see 20 points, 18, 15, 23, 15, 10. So even if he's only getting like 10 points, he's going to get you the rebounds. He's going to get you some blocks and steals. I think it should be easily doable for him to reach 32 fantasy points or fantasy score when it comes to this game when he's getting about 40 minutes. So I really like Bruce Brown in this spot. Next one I like is the over on Paul George, projected fantasy points. Where is he? Right there. Got the past 3 out of 5. But once again, a few of these games doesn't really matter just because it was the end of the season. They secured their spot. And Paul George was kind of limited in minutes. Got the most in the last game against the Kings, 34, but with it being a winner-go-home game, I do think we can see Paul George get closer to 40 minutes in the spot. As I said, steals and blocks count as 3 fantasy points when it comes to fantasy score on Prizepicks. He's averaging over 2 steals a game, about a block a game, but the steals is the biggest one. As we look at his games back, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, basically 3 steals a game. That is 9 points right there, just fantasy score wise. And that's not even counting in his points, rebounds, and assists. So 48 is, I just think, too low of a score on the playoffs for Paul George to reach. Even if he's not hitting the shot, he's going to get you to the foul line. He's going to get those rebounds and assists and those steals. So I love him in this spot. Should see close to 40 minutes. Think he should be easily hitting this over 48 fantasy point score. Next one I like is D'Lo over 34 fantasy score. One second, sorry. Russell, boom, right there. Hit it in the past 2. Once again, don't really take into account the last few games of the season just because it didn't really mean much. D'Lo is a guy, during the regular season, you get to worry about his minutes. They're up and down. Some games he'll play, 25. Some games he'll play 37, as you see right there. But it's the playoffs. I do think we're going to see at least 35, if not closer to 40 minutes of D'Lo. Can shoot the ball pretty well. I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive in the playoffs when it comes to scoring. Is averaging about 7 assists a game, about 3 rebounds per game as well. And so when it comes to just, the scoring, the assist opportunity, the rebounds, the minutes, it's all about the minutes. I do think D'Lo is easily going to be able to hit this 34 fantasy score point mark that we see for him on Prizepicks. He's also averaging about a steal a game, so that's 3 points as well. If he's doing well, can get you a good amount of steals, 4, 2, 3. So I don't mind D'Lo in the spot, 34 fantasy points. If he's hitting his shot and then he's getting those assists, I think it's easily doable, easily reachable fantasy score for D'Lo at 34. I think that's way too low in a 40-minute game for D'Lo against the Clippers. The next one I have, the fourth one, is Kevin Durant, over 54 projected fantasy score. I like Kyrie as well. I think his is 47. But Kevin Durant is a little bit more safer just because he gets more rebounds and assists. And I'd say he's just a little bit more consistent of a shooter, but do really like Kyrie as well. So you can either add Kyrie into these picks, take out Kevin and add Kyrie, whatever you want. But love Kevin Durant in this spot. They played the Cavs the other day, and 54 fantasy score wise for Kevin Durant should be easily doable. This man's about to see 45 minutes, even if the game does blow out. I do still think they're going to run him out there at least 41 minutes. So we saw the last game against Cleveland, 36 points. No one can guard him. Going to get you some rebounds and assists. I think 5 and 5 is his floor because he's been averaging over 6.5 assists and almost 7.5 rebounds. Excuse me. So I love him in this matchup. They played Cleveland recently, as you can see, 41 minutes, 36 points. Fantasy points was 55, averaging 52.4 in the season. So I think his line of 54 is just way too low in a game where he's going to get probably 45 minutes. No one's going to be able to stop him on the defensive end. He can get you some blocks and steals as well. Only averages about a steal per game, but he can get you, good amount of blocks because he's just tall and lanky, 2, none in the last game. But I do really like Kevin Durant. 54 KD in the playoffs is just a different animal. So really like Kevin Durant in this spot. And I know a lot of people are going to skip to this part because I have all the picks on the screen. So if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment. Trying to get to 500 subs by the end of the playoffs. So I do appreciate all the support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Really appreciate it. And the last one of the day is Reggie Jackson, over 28 projected fantasy score. This is another one that I think is way too low. Hit it the past 3 out of 5, past 2 games. He hasn't been doing much just because they haven't needed to. Kind of rested him a bit. But he's a guy who's going to see at least 35 minutes in the spot. He's a veteran guy, playoff experience. So I think we're going to see closer to his normal minutes of 33, I'd say 35 to 40. He should shoot the ball at least, I'd say, 13 times in this spot. Can get you some assists, can get you some boards, decent at getting some steals. So I do really like Reggie Jackson. I think that just the fantasy points in this spot when he's going to get close to 35 minutes is way too low for him, especially if he's hitting the shots. They're going to need a scorer. I know what's his name? Norman Powell is back. He's been playing well, but he's been coming off the bench. Even if he does start, I do think they're going to need a third scorer, and that's Reggie Jackson. He's a guy who's good at defense, can score the ball as well when they need him to, and they're going to need him in the spot because they're 3-point dogs to the Timberwolves. So I think 28 fantasy score is easily hittable for Reggie Jackson. What was he averaging? I know Paul George was out, and Reggie was pretty much doing it all, 30. So I do think 28 is easily doable for him in this spot. Even if he's not hitting the shot, I do think he can get there and just rebounds, assists, a steal. He's going to get you at least 10 points, if not more. So I do think 28 is just way too low for him in this spot. I love him in the spot at 28 fantasy score. I would say it's probably the riskiest out of all these picks, but I just think it's too low for a guy who's going to get close to 35, if not 40 minutes. So once again, as I always say, the new strategy is do the mix and match. And I just know someone asked for me to do that. So in terms of this, let's say Bruce Brown. I'd say take your favorite plays from the picks I gave you. Once again, they're not all locks. There's always risk involved with these. But let's say Bruce Brown and, I don't know. Let's just start off with Bruce Brown. So you go Bruce Brown and Paul George. And then you could do a 2-pick play. and then, or I'd say do a 2 or 3 pick play. So you do Bruce Brown, Paul George, and KD, and then Bruce Brown, Paul George, and D'Lo. So you just, throw 5 on that, throw 5 on the next one, and then you can shift through, take out Bruce Brown, maybe Paul George, KD, Kyrie, Paul George, KD, Bruce Brown. It's just having these 3 pick parlays or 3 prize pick plays of just rotating, picks through one guy. Because if that guy hits, then all you need is another one to hit, and then you're at least getting your money back when it comes to these 3 pick plays. As we can see here, 2 gets 1.25 times your money. So 2 out of 3, it's a lot more doable than trying to go for 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. And if 2 guys are hitting and you're doing 5 different sets of these 2 3 pick plays, you're going to win money and you're going to build a better bankroll, and you're not going to have to rely on all 3 getting it right, because only if 2 of them get it right and you have multiple sets, you're going to get at least a little bit of your money back, if not more, and it's going to be just way more consistent. So that's what I mean by the mix and match strategy. I can go over it a little bit more if you guys want, but yeah, those are my picks for today. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, comment. Do appreciate all the support. Let's get to 500 subs by the end of the playoffs, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more prize picks and NBA slate breakdown as well. And those will also be up on my channel before this video, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.